Hello and welcome to the Warcraft Academy guide to Siegecrafter Blackfuse Heroic. For this guide, I'll assume you already know how the fight works on normal. If you don't, click at the top to view the normal mode guide. You're going to want to use 2 tanks and 2 healers for this fight on 10 man, and 2 tanks and 4 or 5 healers for 25 man. This fight is completely different to normal mode, and there are a huge variety of strategies and positioning that you can use to defeat the encounter. First of all, every time the assembly line activates, you kill 1 weapon like normal, leaving you with 2 remaining. Out of those 2, 1 of them will be normal and 1 of them will be overcharged. Overcharged weapons have significantly different effects to normal. If missile turrets are overcharged, the shockwave missiles he shoots down have a health bar. They will constantly cast the shockwave ripples until they're killed, until summon 3 of them in succession. Non-overcharged missile turrets do not have any health and will only cast Shockwave Ripple once each, but he still summons 3 per wave. If laser turret is overcharged, the empowered laser creates 3 rings of fire in concentric circles around the room. Each circle has a small gap, and the position the fire spawns in is completely fixed and so is completely avoidable. If magnet is overcharged, when the electromagnet turns on, rather than simply pulling you towards it, it will start pulling you towards it, then it will push you away, and continually push and pull you backwards and forwards for its duration. Unfortunately, this means that any saw blades in the room will also be thrown forwards and backwards across the room until the electromagnet is over, making it very deadly. If crawler mines are overcharged, larger mines will jump down from the conveyor belt. When these are killed, 2 more mines will spawn in its place, which means you need a lot of slows and AoE to deal with them. Now, the order the weapons come out of the assembly line is fixed, and the weapon that he overcharges is also affixed to a point. The order that you kill things will determine what he empowers. He'll prioritise empowering magnets, then mines, then missile turrets, and finally lasers as lowest priority. However, he will not empower the same thing twice in a row if he can help it. For example, on wave 1, you get missile, mine and laser. If you kill the missile, he'll empower the mines on this wave. On the next wave, however, it's the same combination again. This time, if you kill the missile, he'll empower the laser instead because the mines were empowered the last time they were up. This doesn't seem to work on every wave, but is mostly accurate, so you can use that information to design your own kill orders if you so wish. I'm going to talk to you through a strategy that we know works perfectly, works safely and easily, but you don't have to use it. There are tons of ways to kill the boss. When dealing with the assembly line, you're going to want to create 2 groups of 2 on 10 man and 2 groups of 5 on 25 man to alternate going up onto the conveyor belt each time. Killing the weapon in time on the assembly line can be very difficult on Heroic, so the classes you send up each time are important. Rogues are the best at going up by far. They can use cooldowns every time they go up, and they should be saving them for this purpose, and they have a ton of abilities to mitigate the damage they take, meaning they won't ever die to overload or superheated on their way up or down. Rep Paladins and Hunters are also very strong, with most other melee classes just behind. The belt is a lot harder on Heroic due to the DPS requirements up there, but also due to the pillars of fire. These pillars don't stay static on Heroic, they move from right to left, and I can guarantee you that you'll run into players getting hit by this because they mistimed moving through it. Unfortunately, this is something you need to become used to with the timing. If you stay back and hesitate moving through, you may fail the DPS check on the conveyor. You simply need to learn the timing so that you're in the correct position as you move through. A lot of your wipes will be due to the conveyor belt failing. Unfortunately, you can't really afford to send extra DPS up there or you'll have issues with the enrage timer. Obviously, if one of them dies, you need to send a replacement though. If you die on the conveyor belt, you can sometimes get res from the main platform depending on how close to the edge you are. So on to the strategy. The way we do this boss involves moving between a few simple raid markers depending on what's happening. I'll explain the assembly line kill order at the end. We start with all our ranged around here, close to the centre, and the boss is pulled like so. It's important that the first saw blade goes into the centre of the room, and I'll explain why later. As soon as the first saw blade is up, your ranged all move to the green marker. Warlocks can't move all the way to the green or their gateways will despawn, so they can stay around this point. The main thing is to not have anyone on the red marker at this stage. Saw blades from this point can either go into the centre or to the edge of the platform like so. The first wave is empowered mines, normal, laser. When the first laser appears, the person with it runs directly back towards the opposite side of the room. With the laser, you're always running either back or left, never right. Everyone else can take a few steps to the right to be out of the fire. Once the second laser appears, all range can stack up on the red marker. So 2 lasers then stack on the red. The boss is then dragged onto the exact spot where the crawler mines spawn from. This allows players to cleave from him onto the mines as they drop down, which can be a huge DPS increase for a lot of classes and will make killing the mines a lot easier. Melee will need to pay attention and move away if they get fixated, but they can help a lot with AoE otherwise. You'll need a powerful AoE slow such as a Hunter Trap or Chillblains from a Death Knight that can be reliably reapplied to keep them locked down. Stuns and knockbacks are also very important to keep them in place. You'll see here, if some of them break loose from the back, you can just single target it down or knock it away. In the range group, every time a Sawblade appears, it gets dropped to the left of the raid, and if necessary, the rest of the group takes a few steps to the right, always stacking on one person. This is to ensure that there's always room to drop Sawblades to the left. The second wave is Empowered Laser and Normal Mines. When the Empowered Laser appears, the fire will not affect your raid as long as you're positioned properly like so. Continue dropping Sawblades to the left and moving the raid to the right as required. You'll get a set of standard mines here over to the right as well, which need to be picked off by your ranged and slowed with whatever you have. These aren't empowered, so they're easy to handle. The third wave is Empowered Electromagnet and Normal Laser. First, wait for the laser to appear under your raid. Whoever it's fixated on runs directly back towards the other side of the room via the inner circle, and the rest of your raid move to the right to the blue marker here. We use a barrier here to reduce the damage in case any Sawblades pass through us. As soon as the empowered fire despawns on our right, we move to the edge. This means we're perfectly safe from any Sawblades. If anyone gets targeted with Sawblade, they move out to the left and drop it there. Try to keep moving so you don't get hit when it shoots at you. Whoever gets laser in this phase can be given a Hand of Protection or other strong cooldown if you have one. Everyone still needs to be stacked together, ideally at close to max casting range. When the second laser fixate comes, whoever gets it runs directly back, and everyone else moves in front of the fire to avoid it. Once the electromagnet ends, stay stacked as close to the fire as possible. Wave 4 is Normal Laser, Overcharge Mines. Wait for the first laser to appear, then everyone moves back towards the red marker. Overcharge Mines will now spawn to the left. Make sure the boss is moved on top of them, and use slows and stuns and AoE them down. Continue your usual strategy, any laser fixates or Sawblades move left, and the rest of your raid moves slightly to the right and stays stacked. Once you've dealt with the mines, move back to the yellow marker. The fifth wave is Overcharge Electromagnet and Normal Mines. The mines will be spawning at purple, so try to drop a frost trap near there so they get slowed as they move towards the boss. You won't be able to tank the boss directly on top of them here due to the Sawblades, but they'll all be moving into melee anyway due to where you're ranged are. Deal with the mines, and as soon as the electromagnet ends, run back to red. Wave 6 is Overcharge Laser Normal Mines. Deal with the mines and stay stacked. Move left with any Sawblades, and keep twitching right as normal. Wave 7 is Normal Laser Overcharge Mines. When the laser appears, he moves left and the rest of your raid moves right. The mines are very close here, so ensure the boss is tanked on top of them, and use every stun you have to ensure they get kept in place whilst you kill them. You'll get a second laser soon, so your range can stay stacked and then move right when it appears, and whoever is fixated runs back. Wave 8 is Overcharge Magnet and Normal Mines. You're already in position basically here, so move to the edge and deal with the mines as they move through melee. Wave 9 is Normal Mines Overcharge Laser. As soon as the electromagnet stops, move immediately back to red and have the boss around here on top of the mines as they spawn. Deal with the mines, drop Sawblades to the left, twitch the raid right as needed. Wave 10 is Normal Laser Overcharge Mines. Whoever gets fixated runs left and the rest of your raid moves right. Focus fully on the mines here and stay stacked up. Continue dropping Sawblades to the left, and the second laser comes, your raid moves right again, and the fixated guy runs back. Wave 11 is Normal Electromagnet Overcharge Missile. You'll run to the yellow for the magnet as usual, however you'll also need to deal with the Overcharge Missile turret. Wherever it spawns, have all DPS fully focus the Overcharge Shockwave Missile. You'll get 3 spawning in a row, so ensure to kill them all as quickly as possible and dodge the ripples. This is where you're going to want to use all remaining raid and personal cooldowns to stay alive. From here, stay together on the right. You'll get Normal Mines and Overcharge Electromagnet on this wave. Deal with the mines as needed, but you do need to kill the boss this wave or get him extremely low. As soon as the next wave spawns, Death Dealer turrets will begin fixating lasers on your raiders, killing them off one by one. If you do happen to get this far, just spread out, kite them as best you can and try and kill the boss before you get killed off. Using this strategy, the only thing that can really wipe you is the crawler mines, bad laser placement, and the assembly line. Lasers always go left or directly back, never to the right. If you're on the right for the electromagnet already, the laser has to go back. If you go left, you'll cut off your raiders, especially the melee. On the assembly line, this is your kill order. You're going to want to put at least one Warlock gateway up from the blue marker positioned on the edge of the pipe. This allows melee to get back to the conveyor belt extremely quickly, giving them more time to DPS the boss. On their way back, they can use sprints or leaps to get back to the raid quickly. They'll need to use their defensive cooldowns liberally if they get stacks of superheated. Finally, the tanking. You'll see here we often have the shredders tanked directly next to the boss. This is because we let our tanks build up 7 or 8 stacks before doing a tank swap, which means they can easily outdamage the heal that Siegecrafter does on them. This allows the off tank to help killing the mines if needed. Warriors are by far best at doing this due to the huge burst damage they can do. Start with one tank on Siegecrafter, then tank swap when the first shredder spawns. You'll only have a few stacks at this point, so use the saw blade in the centre to kill it. Once it's dead, that tank runs back in and taunts the boss before his stacks fall off. He can then build up to 5 stacks before the next shredder spawns and tank that one in melee. Just before death from above, he can move it a few yards out so that it doesn't hit the melee. If he doesn't do that in time, call it out to the melee so they can move away. So that tank then builds up to his 7th stack, and at this point your other tank can then take over and start building up his own stacks to 7, and you simply keep alternating from that point onwards. Doing it this way means the shredders die much faster, which will make the fight a ton easier. The shredders overload is what causes most deaths on this encounter. So to sum up, have 2 groups of 2 or 5 assigned to going onto the assembly platform. Use Warlock gateways or movement increases to get to and from the conveyor belt quickly. Start in the centre and ensure the first saw blade is always dropped in the centre. Have your range move to the green marker and always drop saw blades to the left. Lasers always move left or directly back, never right. After 2 laser fixates, have all range stack on red, keep dropping saw blades to the left, and have the range twitch to the right every time a saw blade or laser is cast. When the electromagnet starts, move to the blue and use barrier or any other raid cooldown. As soon as the fire despawns, move further to the right to avoid the saw blades. Stay together and have the laser move directly back when it spawns. Once the magnet ends, wait for the laser, then move back to the red. Every time you get an electromagnet, you run to the yellow, and every time you get an empowered laser, you run back to the red. Deal with the crawler mines every time they spawn. Use hunter traps or chillblains or any other slow to keep them locked down whilst you kill them. Ensure the boss is tanked on top of the crawler mines to allow you to AoE off the boss. On the 11th wave, ensure you kill the overcharged missile turrets during the electromagnet, and ensure the boss is dead by the 13th wave. Thank you for watching this guide. If you found it helpful, let us know in the comments below, and remember to rate, comment and subscribe.